Mother Knows Death, starring Nicole and Jemmy and Maria QK.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mother Knows Death. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a Love is Blind contestant who had a horrific accident with nail glue. Brooks Naders was in the news this week telling us a super relatable story about getting food poisoning. In true crime news, we will get started with a growing trend over the past 20 years involving female teachers who rape their students. Next, we'll talk about a couple who lived with the body of their dead child for months to, quote, spend more time with her, only to find out later that they were actually responsible for her death. Then we'll talk about an arrest that came from a horrific acid attack that happened years ago. We'll finish up with some other death news, including a medical examiner who accidentally threw out a human skull. All that and more on today's episode.
All right, season 10 of Love is Blind is currently airing, and it was revealed that one of the contestants had to be hospitalized after she accidentally put nail glue into her eye, thinking that it was eye drops.
This is so horrific.
This had happened to my beloved Real Housewife of Salt Lake City, Lisa Barlow, before I believe she was supposed to go and watch What Happens Live, and right before she said she thought she was putting eye drops in her eye and accidentally grabbed nail glue and had to go to the emergency room. I can't even fathom how bad this burns.
I got nail glue in my eye before by accident once.
Why do they make the bottles look similar? They do look similar.
I didn't do it because of that. I was trying to, you know, when it gets clogged, I was trying to like pick off the top and the little adapter thing that's attached to it. And sometimes, especially with nail glue, it like flew off and then the glue splashed on my face. And I closed my eye really quick, but my eyelid, it didn't hurt at all, but my eyelashes were glued shut. And it scared the shit out of me because I didn't know there was no such place as like urgent care back then because this was in the 90s. But I didn't know if it got in my eye, like it didn't hurt, but I didn't know because I couldn't open my eye. And I was petrified that like it might have damaged my vision somehow. And I just had to go to, luckily I was able to go to an eye doctor who came in as an emergency, and he, under some kind of, I guess they have like an ocular lens that could look at the eye a little bit closer to just see exactly what he was doing, and he cut my eyelashes off and then it was fine. So like my instincts closed my eyes quick enough. But we have a case actually in the gross room that's called Ointment, Superglue, and Bible. And the reason that I titled it was because there's this 29-year-old woman who did the same exact thing that you're talking about in this case, who had prescription ointment to put in her eye, and accidentally that was what was on her nightstand was ointment, superglue on top of a Bible, and she grabbed the wrong bottle and like squirted it with force into her eye, and it shows you what that looks like. It's terrifying. But one thing that I learned from this is that you're supposed to try to put water on it even if it appears that it's dried right away, because it will prevent further adhesion to the tissues inside of the eye. So it is good to flush it even though you think, you know, that it's already fixed.
God, this is so horrible. I've heard about a lot of people mistaking eardrops for eye drops. I mean, they all come in similarly shaped bottles, which I don't know if that needs to be changed because it seems like the accidents are happening too much.
No, it's actually true because I have, you know, we have a pool. So in the summer, I have these eardrops that you know, when you get your ear clogged, it's, you just put them in, and it's just basically, it's alcohol, right? And it just dries up the water that's in your ear. It's an amazing product. But I had like itchy eyes one night, and I was like going through my drawer. What do you call my drawers that have all of my
your Munchausen's cabinet?
My Munchausen's cabinet. And so I was going through there looking for the allergy eye drops, and then I picked up the container because it was dark, and I was feeling around, and I picked up the container and saw that it said that it was the eardrops, and I was like, holy shit, this is how people do this. And I would have put like alcohol directly into my eye.
Especially because like you're completely blind without your glasses on, so if you just were basing your instinct off the shape of the bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I
didn't
picked it
actually
up and I
read
was like,
it.
this feels weird. It's like because it is longer and pointier, but it's still like one of those tiny bottles.
They're too similar and they need to change it. I mean, I think that she ended up being okay, but still, this was I think this was in her like first couple days of filming too, which like what a disaster.
This one brand of allergy eye drops that I use it looks like the same as that container that they put certain nail glues in. It's like the same as that container. It's so
Yeah,
crazy.
that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Or like they need to make the cosmetic ones like for nail glue like neon color so you know
or have a
like
different color lid or something.
yeah, so you know like this is not the same product as this.
Oh my god,
I
it sounds
understand how it
terrible.
happens, people. It just sounds terrible. All right, over the weekend, Brooks Nader was on a trip for her 29th birthday, and while flying on a private jet, her sister posted pictures of her saying she was struck with serious food poisoning and that an ambulance was waiting for her when the plane landed.
Oh my. Listen, I'm totally ignorant. Like I saw that you added this story this week and I'm like, who is this? I never heard of this person and I don't even understand how her first name is Brooks. It doesn't even make sense, but
Brooks
okay.
is a popular name, believe it or not, especially
It's
with
plural,
millennial
like
mothers.
it's weird. Okay, anyway.
She is a model.
Sorry to all the Brooks who are listening right now.
There probably are.
I don't understand your
Gonna
name.
get canceled. She is a model, and she is most recently in the news a lot because her and her sisters have a reality show called Love Thy Nader after their last name, and that's pretty much why she's relevant. I mean, I don't.
So she's not. Okay.
She's a relevant influencer model, like every other hot girl online, right? I've talked shit about her on Instagram or on YouTube Live because she's younger than me and looks like she's a hot 40-year-old woman. Like whatever. She's got a lot of work going on, and I know that's catty or bitchy of me to say whatever. That's honestly how I feel. But anyway, she was going to St. Bart's for her 29th birthday, and they were on a private jet, and then one of her sisters posted these pictures of her like under the covers and their dad feeding her water, and then they posted a picture that an ambulance was waiting for them when they landed. TMZ was saying a source told them it was due to bad sushi. People online are saying that they don't buy that. Some people have called her out saying, okay, you just partied too hard. Also in November, it came out that she was addicted to taking GLP-1s to maintain her body for her modeling career, so people are calling that out. I don't know the real reason behind it, but that's what the people online are saying.
She probably just like upped her dose and that's what happened. She was like deathly ill. You know, this this whole entire article is so douchey. It really is. Like, you know, I've said this before in the past, like when celebrities are in the hospital and they're like taking pictures of themselves, like
it's very attention-seeking behavior.
Oh my god, it drives me nuts. Or like celebrities take
Or when-
pictures of themselves crying or videos of themselves crying. It's like, who does that?
When people post pictures of a hospital bracelet and then say don't ask, and you're like, you are the most obnoxious person on this planet.
Oh my god. So this picture is like this woman, like, how is any regular person supposed to relate to this? She's laying on the floor of an airplane, okay?
A private airplane.
What person in the world that you know can even fit their feet on the floor in the airplane, let alone like lay your whole body on the floor of the airplane? Like, it's so, you're like, oh, you were in your private jet and you were bent over with daddy feeding you water with a blanket
Going
on, all
to
cozy.
St. Bart's, which is the most expensive place in the world to go. Like,
yeah. I was trying to find out because I'm sure she posted about whatever sushi restaurant she was at that she got sick at, which probably is like she didn't even get sick at, and now she's going to ruin the reputation of this restaurant.
well, yeah, I was trying to see where it was because it didn't say they said that's what happened. It said a source told TMZ that's what happened. So, like,
Yeah,
who is
okay.
said source? Her PR agent? But yeah, I was trying to go back to see if she had posted anything about eating sushi somewhere. I didn't see anything, and nobody on any forums was talking about it.
But this is why I think it's bullshit too, because like sushi's one of those ones that you can totally get sick from, but usually if you do get sick, you get really sick. Like you get like a parasite from raw fish, or like, or you could get Vibrio or something like that from the like. I I don't think that she had it and then like got off and was partying later that night. Like she didn't have like a low grade infection from eating food. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the way they presented it was that she had it for the duration of the flight from New York City to St. Bart's. And
that's
then
what
she
I'm
was
saying.
totally fine that night. And I
No,
don't think that's how
no,
food poisoning operates at
not
all.
it could, like, if you had like, I mean, there's been times where like you eat something and then you like shit your brains out, and then like the next day it's like you're kind of okay or something, right? Like a low grade. There's no kind with sushi that's giving you that like like a quick in and out. I'm skeptical of this story. I don't believe it, and I don't know. Just like I'm just so annoyed by the whole entire thing. So, like the picture she showed looks like she's like laying on a carpet in a plane. Like you're not relatable.
I thought it was more interesting when
And
I
why is she
didn't,
on GLP ones anyway?
because she said it's to maintain her weight for her modeling career because she's like a swimsuit model.
Oh my god.
And that's the problem too. And like she
Like
came forward with
how
it.
was anybody ever a model before this?
Dude, I don't understand what these people are willing to do
That
for
to me is
this.
like a serious illness. I actually will go on a limb and say that's 100% what was happening with her. It's
She
something to do with that drug and
I
not
mean,
needing it.
based on appearances, she has to be a size 2, right?
Well,
Like
it's not good enough.
it's not like she's morbidly obese and trying to control her weight. Like she's an extremely thin person. So I don't even understand if who would have told her she was fat. Like I've never seen a picture of her where she looked even bigger than that size. So like what
And who
is
has
going on?
access? Like, do you know people are on a plane and all of a sudden figure out that they had food poisoning or something like that? Like, oh, there's an ambulance waiting for you. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's so douchey. All right, it's happened again. A teacher got pregnant after having sex with one of her students, and she further broke the boy's heart by getting an abortion.
So this, I don't understand what happened, but it became popular ever since Mary Kay Letourneau did this, which was shocking. I think that most women were just like, I don't understand how a grown woman could be attracted to a child like that. But it was also the first time that we really ever heard of it. I'm sure it was happening before then, but I feel like that was so shocking. And then ever since then, the past 20 or so years, 20, 25 years, it happens like a lot.
I feel like in the last 2 years, we've had many stories, and we don't even cover them because of how frequently it happens.
What, like, this is like a very interesting phenomenon to me.
It's
Not,
weird to me. Well, obviously these people are pedophiles, right? And you have to wonder if they went into this career to be around children. But it is weird to me that these people, like in this case, this woman is married. They refer to her as a mother, so I'm assuming she has a child with her husband or something. And then like you're going to ruin your entire life, and this is not her only victim. This was her victim. So this student she got pregnant with, she had the relationship with in 2017 and 2018, and then she got pregnant and had an abortion, which honestly I feel like that was the right call for his sake, right? And then fast forward to 2024, she had groomed another male student.
yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that with the abortion situation. The thing is, though, is that apparently she had told him that she was pregnant and he didn't want her to get an abortion. Now, like, a 14-year-old clearly does not know, like,
What that entails.
what that entails. But, like, especially if he was if he was brought up religious to think that was wrong or something, like, on top of being sexually abused, I mean, like, his first child now was aborted, right? And like against his will. It's just like a lot for a little kid to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean in general, like I understand that concern. I'm just saying like it in the end, I think it was better off that that happened for his sake so he wasn't forever tied to this woman.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just it's just wrong and it's weird. And I would, you know what, we should really try to see if we could talk to a psychiatrist at some point about this, because I'm really interested with like psychologically if it's still the underlying same thing for men who are teachers, let's say, that want to have relationships with children like this versus women who are teachers that want to have relationships like this. Like I know you were saying something about like when she got hired, is that why she got the job at the school, because of that? And like honestly, I don't think it's the same kind of mechanism with women as it is with men. I feel like it's more of like, and oftentimes too, Mary Kay Letourneau, this particular person, you hear that this woman that is grooming the student is married and has children at home. It's almost like a, do you think it could be just like not ready to be mature, trying to be in high school again kind of thing, like a weird um uh, like that, as opposed to just being an actual like predator and trying to get a job? It's more of like the feeling of having a baby and having a husband and just missing that old life you had kind of a thing.
I mean, totally, because you have to look at the one side, which is like either people are predators and they're getting this job to be around children all the time, or there's another case where, like, sometimes they say when you experience an extremely traumatic event in your life that you're like stuck at that age mentally and maturity wise. So you have to
Yeah,
wonder.
I almost think it might be something like that. There's just like some, I mean, for me, I think about especially that age of middle school. That was like the worst time ever. I would never ever want to relive that. And thinking about like boys that look like children still, it's just like I don't understand it. But there has to be some kind of, is she married and doesn't feel like her husband's paying enough attention to her, and these young boys are like think she's hot and
Or,
like,
like, was she the victim of some type of sexual abuse or witnessed some type of sexual abuse and this is justified in her mind?
I
I,
don't
I,
know.
I
It's
won't
so
understand it.
embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. And like, I think her family owned a restaurant. So it's like her name is like very,
Yeah, she
um,
was like having, like, I don't even want to say having a relationship. She was sexually assaulting these boys in her marital home, in her car, in her family's restaurant where they allegedly worked.
I just don't understand it. I just, I can't wrap my brain around it at all. But, yeah. And it's happening. It seriously is happening multiple times a week. We actually have talked about stories of women that are having babies with these kids. And I mean, like, Mary Kay Letourneau, didn't she have like two babies with this kid?
Yeah, so like I guess the extra added level of weirdness to this story is that like Mary Kay Letourneau did that, but she ended up being with him for years after until she died, right? Or maybe I think they got
No,
divorced right before she died.
yeah, there was like something. I mean,
Regardless,
oh, shocker, it didn't work out.
totally messed up and illegal, but like they were together after. In this case, it's like this woman was doing it to multiple victims. So it wasn't even like she like targeted one person and was like justifying that in her mind. Like she was just an overall predator.
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
I just won't understand it. This episode is brought to you by The Gross Room.
Guys, we don't put the grocery room for sale that often, but it is on sale now until the end of the month for $20 for an entire year of gross. So you'll have access to all of our years in the gross room, thousands of posts. Um, we have a lot of audio episodes too. And then, of course, we have our YouTube Live every week, which is our additional pseudo episode of Mother Knows Death / just pure insanity. um, and also Forensic Friday, we do every Friday. So last week was on Forensic Sketch Artist. This week, I'm not sure what we're doing yet because a lot could happen between now and tomorrow. So check that out.
Head over to thegrossroom.com now to sign up.
All right, another disturbing story.
So in Washington, a woman and her boyfriend abused and starved her 8-year-old adoptive daughter to death and then kept her corpse for 3 months to, quote, spend more time with her. But then police found out that they ended up being responsible for her death.
So I don't really understand what this is about, but this kid was very small when she was found, 26 pounds for an 8-year-old, which is outrageous because that's the size of a toddler, right? So clearly she was underfed, malnourished at the hands of them. But the weird part is that they did she did die on their watch, and they decided that they wanted to stay with her for a couple months, which was bizarre because if you mistreat a child, why would you want to stay with their dead body for 3 months? But they show up at a funeral home with her dead body to have a funeral for her. And of course, the funeral home is like, where's the paperwork that she died? Like, why do you have a dead child right now that you're bringing here without some kind of like a hospital interaction or
Like in a
hospice?
coffin loaded in a U-Haul truck pulls up to this
Yeah.
funeral home
So-
in South Dakota, by the way, when they're from Washington.
Yeah, like any funeral home's going to be like, red flag, because I mean, like, I guess sometimes if a kid has cancer and is on hospice and stuff, they could die at home, and then that would be a situation where a funeral home would then go to the house and pick up the body and bring the child back to the funeral home. But like, there's never a situation where somebody should be bringing a dead body to a funeral home, like, ever, really. There's just not. So, of course, the person walked out the door while the funeral director had their phone up and was calling 911 right away to be like, something weird's going on here. So they pull over this person and find this dead child in a coffin inside of a U-Haul truck. And like, obviously decomposed, 26 pounds, malnourished. Like, dude, people are out of their freaking minds.
Yeah, and this was the weirdest part to me. So they start investigating them, and they said, unbeknownst to them, their home camera system recorded them assaulting the child, and their home camera system recorded them tying her to a car seat with zip ties to restrain her. They did assault her, they did starve her, they did restrain her, they did torture her, and they did kill her. Like, you don't know you have a camera system in your house that's
These
recording
people
everything you do?
are like slow. Like, what is happening? Like, I mean, and it's a shame. It's such a shame. So this was an adopted child, but it was
her biological niece.
Yeah. So it's like this kid already had to be adopted because one of her siblings is a piece of shit too, right?
Well,
yes.
We don't know what happened. The mom could have died, or like, you don't know what happened.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm just saying, like, usually birds of a feather flock together, right? Like, if this woman's like this, I'm sure her family is not like upstanding citizens. But regardless, like, this kid already lost her biological parents and is now going and getting adopted by and in a more shitty situation.
Yeah, so this lady was sentenced to 32 years and 4 months in prison. And then the boyfriend pleaded guilty. Well, she pleaded guilty, so it was a plea deal.
But that's the deal? Like, she just gets a couple years?
32 years and 4 months?
The kid's dead.
I understand this. I think this is life in prison, but it's not like 2 years.
It's also not like, oh, my kid was being a brat and I killed him in a fit of rage. It's like, you tortured that child. You should go to jail for the rest of your life.
No, like, this is one of those situations where I think an eye for an eye should apply. Like, you should starve this person and then let their corpse be in a property for...
It's not going to go over well.
No, if
I
you
understand
starve a child to death, you should be starved to death.
I understand that.
And then it's like, you meet a boyfriend that's also on board with this. Where are these people meeting?
I don't know. And I just don't really understand why they wanted to spend more time with the body. Like,
no, it seems like they couldn't figure out how they were going to get rid of her. And then they were clearly idiots. So then, like, they thought they'd just drop her off a couple states away at a different funeral home and no questions asked. Like, that's just not how it works.
Could you imagine, like, and we talked to you guys in law enforcement, like, especially with this whole Nancy Guthrie case, like, you know that there's just, we see all the time, like, all these law enforcement are working to, like, look through videos and find this and find that. And it's like, it's such a challenge sometimes to try to figure out these cases and look for little clues and stuff. Like, but we never talk about investigations like this that are just so easily handed on a platter to investigators. Like, Oh, let's go check out the house and see. Oh, it looks like there's cameras. Let's look at the footage. Well, they're doing the crime right here. It's pretty cut and dry. Like, we don't even have to do anything. They just like admitted to it on film.
Clearly, they were complete idiots if they didn't even know they were being recorded this whole time. I mean, come on. Like, how
Uh,
stupid are you? In their house. Like, I assume when I leave my door that I'm being recorded everywhere I go. We live in a surveillance state, unfortunately. But, like, in your own house, you don't realize you're being recorded. I mean, this is, like, unacceptable. All right. Back in March 2021, this Hofstra University student was left disfigured after a man threw a cup of acid in her face and drove away. And finally, 5 years later, somebody has been arrested for it.
I feel so terrible for this woman.
Oh,
I feel
absolutely.
so terrible. She really is. She has permanent disability because of this. She has so much scarring on her face. She lost vision in her one eye. She still says she can't open her mouth.
Dozens of surgeries.
I mean, dozens of surgeries, still dozens of surgeries ahead of her. But on top of the physical pain that she had to deal with, this, imagine knowing somebody intentionally threw acid on your face like this to permanently disfigure you, and the how scared you would be knowing that this person is still on the loose.
Well, yeah. So, like, I know it's been 5 years, but, like, talking about easy investigations handed over, police got a tip a couple months ago. And then when they started looking into this person, I mean, it couldn't have been more obvious. They said his Google searches included sulfuric acid remover, sulfuric acid on car seat. Can you recover from a sulfuric acid attack? And then he was an aspiring rapper who published a song called Obsidian, which refers to burning someone's face with acid. Like, you're bragging about it?
Also, think about this. Like, you went to a woman's house that was completely innocent and threw sulfuric acid on her face, and you're worried about the fact that you spilled it in your car on your car seat and you're trying to look how to clean that up.
You
Like,
know
it is really disturbing that anybody has that mentality.
You know what else was really weird? This article, first of all, mentioned that they're like worried because there's this 5 year statute of limitations on attacks like this. So they're worried if anybody else is involved, they might not get them in time because of this limitation. And then they're also looking in to see if he was hired because of
Well,
how
yeah.
random it was.
And that happens. So I have a case in the gross room actually that's called Who Would Want to Marry You? And I did it a couple years ago. And it's about, so this took place in another country, but it's about an 18-year-old woman that a similar kind of thing happened. And it seemed like it was a retaliation thing for something that was going on in their family with one of her brothers. So, I mean, it happens in other countries sometimes too. And the worst part of that case, and the reason why it's called Who Would Want to Marry You, is because she was talking to her mother as she got older and said, like, are you going to try to find someone for me to marry, because they did arrange marriages in the country she was from. And her mom looked at her and said, oh, look at you, like, who would ever want to marry you looking like this? Because she's, when you get burned with sulfuric acid, like, you look similar to a burn victim. You just have very extreme scarring. If it happens on your hair and your face, like, the hair doesn't grow there anymore, right? Skin grafts, all of these things. Sometimes if it gets on your hands, like finger amputations and things like that. That story ended up having a good outcome, but if you guys are interested in reading all about that, and the burns are different than a flame burn, especially because when you throw a chemical on someone like that, if you can't get it off right away, it just continues to burn and burn and burn and go deeper into your tissues. It's so terrible.
Didn't we have a story like last year, and maybe I'm putting two stories together, that this person went to go throw acid on somebody's face, and then they also were trying to put a GPS tracker on their car, but they turned the tracker on when they were at a hotel, and then they figured out who did it because of that?
No, didn't it happen like around here?
Yeah, because they stayed... The
at
hotel
the Ritz-Carlton, right?
No, they stayed at like the A-Loft in Mount Laurel or something.
Oh, why did I think such a fancy hotel?
It was not a sophisticated crime, therefore they should not be allowed to stay in a sophisticated
that was
hotel.
so dumb. What a moron. I remember that. Yeah, they bought a GPS tracker and were like, let's see if this works, and put it on. Like, what a moron.
Yeah, and then they were immediately able to be like, okay, it was at this hotel. Who checked into this hotel? They found the person, like, no problem. What a dummy. All right, last story for the week. A new lawsuit is claiming that a San Francisco medical examiner threw out a human skull and then fired an employee who caught him doing it.
So the normal procedure is when you have a person, so this was a female, so it's a Jane Doe. If you have a Jane Doe or a John Doe would be a male. And this body was found in a homeless encampment, so they have no idea who it is. So the normal procedure would be to just keep the body at the medical examiner's office and try to do everything you can to possibly figure out who this person is by lots of different methods, doing fingerprints, or if the person isn't super decomposed, if they have any tattoos that are visible, sometimes they'll post them on their website. They'll even post them on Instagram or something to try to identify who a person is. Sometimes they post pictures of the clothes they were in, just trying to do anything. This person has this rare necklace that someone might recognize. And when they do everything, then the last thing that they're going to do is try to use the skull to reconstruct what they think their face would look like, and then try to figure out who it is. And if all else fails, then finally they'll cremate the body and just put the ashes around the Golden Gate Bridge. And so in this situation, it was like at that process right beforehand where they were trying to figure out who this person was by reconstructing their skull to try to see what their face would look like. And the medical examiner's office was having an inspection come up. So the person that was in charge decided, like, okay, we have to like hurry up and clean this to make it look good before the inspectors get here, and threw the skull out in the trash. It was probably like an accident. It wasn't like an intentional thing. But I guess when this employee was doing inventory and she recognized that it was missing, she brought it to the attention of the people in charge, and everybody started just acting like real sketchy about it. And she said that she started feeling retaliation as soon as that happened.
Yeah, so I guess what also happened is that, like, she was up for a promotion and then things started getting weird. And then she filed this complaint against a funeral home for something totally unrelated about her grandmother. And then they went back to the medical examiner's office and said that she was like using her position as a death investigator against them. And then the medical examiner's office used that complaint to fire her.
Yeah. And then they said they laid her off because of staffing issues and budget issues and stuff. But she seems to think that everything started going down after she said that this person had thrown out the skull.
Yeah. So, like, now she had filed this lawsuit for wrongful termination, and they're saying that the San Francisco Board of Supervisors moved to settle it for $750,000.
Yeah, well, they want to sweep this under the rug because they don't want to admit that they actually threw human remains in the trash.
Yeah, and like you're going to
'Cause that doesn't
retaliate
look
about
good.
somebody that was just doing their job and taking inventory and then realized it was missing.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, $750,000 is going to make this thing go away. Like, let's do that.
Well, now it's in the news, so it's not really good look for them.
No.
All right, guys, we have our City Vineyard show this Saturday. We cannot wait to see everybody there. It's in New York City, and it is going to be probably one of our last events for a little bit of time, thanks to this baby. So, can blame him.
And we
for
have
that.
we have good stories too.
Yeah, we are going to have really good stories, so it's going to be fun. Some of our friends are going to be there. Our husbands are going to be there. It's going to be a really fun time all around. Buy some merch. You can get your book signed, take some pictures, whatever you guys want to do. We're going to have a really good time. So please check those tickets out in the description of this episode on our social media or in the gross room. And please head over to Apple or Spotify, leave us a review, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and send your stories to stories@motherknowsdeath.com.
And don't forget, the gross room is on sale. That will be ending soon by the end of the month, and our YouTube live tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Mother Knows Death. As a reminder, my training is as a pathologist assistant. I have a master's level education and specialize in anatomy and pathology education. I am not a doctor, and I have not diagnosed or treated anyone, dead or alive, without the assistance of a licensed medical doctor. This show, my website, and social media accounts are designed to educate and inform people based on my experience working in pathology so they can make healthier decisions regarding their life and well-being. Always remember that science is changing every day, and the opinions expressed in this episode are based on my knowledge of those subjects at the time of publication. If you are having a medical problem, have a medical question, or are having a medical emergency, please contact your physician or visit an urgent care center, emergency room, or hospital. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother Knows Death on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks.